I was hanging out with a good friend last weekend, and he was about to drop a few $100 on a brand new projector setup for his backyard movie nights. He kept saying, "I don't want to end up with a screen that looks cheap or that I can't fit in the space we have." That hesitation, wondering if the screen will actually give that cinema feel without turning the whole patio into a construction zone, is what most of us feel before we spend money on a big screen upgrade. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So I dug into what a motorized 120-inch matte white screen really brings to the table, especially when you pair it with a long-throw or ultra-short-throw projector, and I'm going to walk through the things that mattered most in real-world use. First off, let's talk about why a dedicated screen matters more than just throwing an image onto a blank wall. With 4K and even 8K content becoming mainstream, the extra pixel density can be wasted on a surface that isn't calibrated for it. A matte white screen like the AWOL Vision model is engineered to diffuse light evenly, which reduces hotspotting and preserves the depth of dark scenes, something you notice instantly when you binge a dark thriller on a dimmed evening. The ultimate darkroom cinematic experience claim isn't just marketing fluff, it translates into richer shadows and more consistent whites when the projector is placed at the right distance. Installation is often the first deal breaker. A lot of screens promise hassle-free setup, but when you actually unbox the thing, you can be staring at a tangled web of bolts, brackets, and a massive roll of fabric. What surprised me, in a good way, is how the AWOL Vision screen arrives partially pre-assembled. The floor stand base folds out, the motor housing slots into the back, and the screen itself rolls down on a guided track that feels smoother than most manual pull-down screens I've handled. You'll still need a power outlet within a few feet, but the wiring is simple. Plug the motor in, hit the included remote, and the screen lifts itself without you having to wrestle with a crank. For someone who wants a clean look without a permanent ceiling mount, this is a real time saver. Now, let's get practical. You've probably got a projector, maybe a short throw model you're mounting on a shelf, or an ultra short throw that sits right in front of the screen. The AWOL Vision's 120-inch diagonal works nicely in rooms where you can sit about 810 feet away, which is a sweet spot for most living rooms and even tighter backyard setups. Because it's a floor stand design, you can move it around a bit if you need to rearrange furniture or switch from an indoor movie night to an outdoor gathering. The screen's matte finish also handles ambient light better than a glossy counterpart, so you don't have to live in a pitch-black cave. A couple of dimmed lamps or a slight twilight won't wash out the image completely. One feature that actually showed up in day-to-day use is the USB synchronization. The screen comes with a small USB stick that you can plug into the remote's receiver, letting you store presets for screen height and speed. If you regularly switch between a projector that sits higher on a shelf and a portable model you bring outside, you can hit a button and have the screen adjust to the right height without guessing. It's a minor convenience, but after a few weeks it feels like a quality-of-life upgrade, especially when you're juggling kids and popcorn. But no product is perfect, and the trade-offs here are worth spelling out. First, the motor does make a faint hum when it raises or lowers the screen. In an ultra-quiet home theater, you'll notice it, though it's not loud enough to be distracting. Second, the matte white surface, while great for dark rooms, does reflect a bit more ambient light than a high-gain gray screen. If your primary viewing space is a bright living room with large windows and you can't control the lighting, you may find the blacks look a little lifted compared to a specialized high-gain screen. Third, the floor stand is sturdy, but it does take up floor space roughly a foot wide and a couple of feet deep, so if you're in a cramped apartment, you'll need to commit that real estate to the screen. Another hidden consideration is power. The motor needs a constant power source, which means you'll either have to run a cord across the floor, which can be an eyesore, or install a discrete outlet near the stand. For outdoor use, you'll need a weatherproof extension or a portable generator, which adds another layer of planning. The screen itself isn't fully weather sealed. It can handle a light drizzle if you cover it with a tarp, but prolonged exposure to rain or strong sun will degrade the fabric over time. So think of it as an indoor preferred, covered outdoor solution rather than a permanent backyard fixture. Who should actually consider buying this? If you're a home theater hobbyist,